Hello everyone, it's Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace, and I want to welcome you to my channel. Today we are here to work on getting the book block, text block, ready to be sewn in. So here are my signatures. I've done quite a bit of decorating and I'm almost done with that. I will do the last final bits of the decorating after I get it sewn into the text block. I'm calling it a text block. Literally, that is what it is. That is, see, I've got one here somewhere. That is what the bulk of the pages of the text. Like this is from the Reader's Digest, this Reader's Digest. So that is what the text is. This is the text block. So it is the signatures and what they'll be sewn into. So I am sewing them not directly into the cover because I want my spine to be a hollow back. So that means that this part of the spine, let me raise you up just a bit. This part of the spine here is not connected to the book block or the text block. So you can stick your finger down in there. So when my signatures are in this journal, I want that to be hollow here. So to do that, you have to make something else to sew the signatures into, and that is what we're going to do today. So what I have here is a piece of fabric, and this piece of fabric, which I will cut down to the height that I want it to be, is going to be the bases, along with a cardboard spine, will be the bases of what I will sew the signatures into. I may not get that done today because I don't know how long it'll take me on camera to do the rest of the preparation. So what we do is measure the spine, and when you measure the spine, and when you open it like this, it's from book, it is not from the end of the book cover, which is here, but it will be here because you have this little gully, I'll call it, right here, where it indents. So your book spine is really only this width, not out to here. So what you measure is just this part from here to here. And this one, as you can see what I'm doing, is 1.5 inches. So I've made my cardboard strip 1.5 inches. You also can measure it from the inside from here to here. So you don't measure past what I'll call the shoulder here. And inside this is just 1.5 inches. And that is what I have here, is that 1.5 inches. And that is the amount of space that I will have to sew my signatures into. So let me bring you back down just a bit. So what I will be doing first, and I will just do this whole process right here on camera. I have a centering ruler, which is a ruler that has 0 as its center point. And with this, you can center something and then measure an equidistance from the center point. So I have 5 signatures. So what I want to do here is measure from my center point. Let me bring in just a little bit more so you can actually see what I'm doing here, I hope. Okay, so I will center this, and the way I do that is I get around the center, and then I see that if I go, these are all 1/2 inch marks, so that's the center, that's a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, center, 1/2 inch, 1 inch. So to center this, I will be 2/16 on either side from the 1 inch mark. So I will measure the center with a pencil, just put a tick mark. And then every 1/4 of an inch, I will make another tick mark. Just like this. So that means, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 signatures. So each signature will be sewn on this tick mark. This is how I'm going to make my template. That would leave a 1/4 of an inch from the book shoulder to the first signature on either side, plus a 1/4 of an inch in between each signature. That, when I'm doing 5 signatures, has always worked well for me. Then I'm going to do the same thing up here and do my center, and then do a 1/4 of an inch on either side until I have enough for 5 signatures. Then I will take this ruler. I can bring you back in a little bit now. I will do this I will do this ruler, and I will make a line from one tick mark to the next, so that I have 5 lines down my strip here. And this is 1.5 inches wide and 7, I believe it's 7 1/4 tall, which is the height of my signatures. I think I got that right. So we'll just make these lines here. This is going to be my spine template. It will be what I actually sew into along with the piece of fabric I'm fixing to show you. And possibly, I think I'll put a piece of paper, brown shipping paper over that. So that is going to be my tick marks. Now this way, I want to do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. So I'm basically going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to center this, which is approximately, one, that's 3.5 plus 1/16, and 3.5 plus 1/16. So this here is the center. And when I'm doing a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, I don't want to go all the way to the end. I like to leave it in maybe a 1/2 inch, sometimes more than that. But that will make, if I do an inch, and so I need to do 2 marks over here. So if I do 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches, that's going to be too far. So let's do 1.25 inches and 1.25 inches, because 1.5 inches is going to be too much. I haven't figured this out. So here's a 1/2 inch, and there's 1 inch, and 2 inches, and 3 inches, and 2. That's too close together. So I want to put. Let me just do this. I want to put this top one about right here at 3 inches. And so if I did 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches, that's good. We'll do it that way. So we'll do 0 is the center. Then we'll go 1.5 inches with a tick mark, and 1.5 inches with a tick mark. We'll go 1.5 inches this way, and 1.5 inches at 3. And that will make our 5 holes for the pamphlet stitch. And then I'll go up here and do the exact same thing on this end, this side. We'll do 0, and then we'll go 1.5 inches, and then we'll go 1.5 inches, which will be at the 3 inch mark. So we'll go 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. Okay, now we'll take this and we'll make a line here. On each of these tick marks, we will draw a line. That will be where my signatures, that's where my holes will need to be punched in my signatures to attach it to this piece of spine here. Let's see, get this centered there. One more here. Okay, did I get those straight? I may not have got these straight. Let's see. Let's see if I did. Yeah, I think I did pretty good on that. Yep. So you want to get that as straight as possible. Let's see, I might not have done that one quite straight. I don't think I did on this one, so let's go over that one again. Okay. So, as you can see, I have a line going vertically. I have 5 lines going vertically and 5 lines going horizontally. And the cross points is where I will be punching a hole through this. And then I will be making a template for my pages based on this. So what I do with that, is I have this little piece of paper that I will make this same length. And I'm not going to get my trimmer out. I'm just going to eyeball it here because it won't really have to be exact. Can be. Could be. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be exact because we're going to mark the top, and I will align this at the top. And we're going to call one of these the top. So I'm just going to put an arrow to indicate the top. And then on this, I'm going to put an arrow to indicate the top. And then I'll just cut this off. So this is the same height as my my spine's going to be. I will fold this in half. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this template now before. It's easier to do it now than it is after it's sewn or glued with the fabric on it. So I know you can't see me, sorry. Just going to fold this in half. Or approximately in half. This is a 2-inch strip. I like to have a 2-inch strip. And I'm going to fold it backwards like this because I'm going to take this and put it on top of here and make sure that I have, this is the top, the arrow's pointing up. So I make sure I have those in the correct position. And then I am going to mark each place on this piece of paper where the holes need to be in my signature. We may wind up punching the holes today too. Don't know if I'll get it sewn in, but I'm not gonna get them all sewn in, and I'm only gonna do 1 or 2 online or on the video. Okay, so there we have our template for our signatures. So when I go in to punch my holes, the hole is a little off center, but I know I want to be in the crease, and this will be my template for the signatures. So I'm going to put that on top of my signatures over here, which I have them sitting up here with a weight on them. So now I'm ready to do this because this is too tall. I want it to be a little taller than this, and the reason being is I want the frayed edge to stick out above my my spine just a little bit. So we're going to move that up just a bit, and I want it to have a little bit of a frayed edge. So we will mark it. Now, I'm not really marking it by the book so much as I am by the template. So I'm gonna do it just a little bit above, about right there. I'm gonna rip this just like that. So this is a coffee dye piece of fabric that I am using, and it has this little teal colored mini dot thing on it, and I'm just going to use the back side because I don't want that to be so prominent, because this part of this will show after the signatures are sewn in. So I'm going to do it this way, because this, I think this is going to be my inside paper, and so I want it to match as closely as I can. So it's a decent match. Okay, so we have this, and this is going to stick out just a little bit, and I'm really okay with that. I kind of like that, actually. So let's move this back aside. This is my back side, and this is my front side of this. So I have this on the back side, which you're not going to see, because I want this to show, because this is what I'm going to use to poke my holes, and I want this to be the top side of the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is approximately in the center, doesn't have to be exact, but approximately in the center, I'm just going to glue this down, just like this. I could, and sometimes I do, but I don't think I need to here. Sometimes I will do glue this to a piece of paper, like just brown wrapping paper, like this, and then glue this on to give the fabric a little more stability. I don't always do that. It depends. This is a pretty nice piece of fabric, so I'm not sure that's necessary at this point. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I am just going to glue this in here, in approximately the middle. And the other thing is, when you use fabric, I like to use fabric because it is obviously sturdier than just paper would be. But you can use paper. I have done that before myself, so you can use paper. So I'm going to use art glitter glue is all you need. Unstop it. Let's see if I can get it unstopped. Uh-oh, I dropped my pen on the floor. That's never a good thing, is it? And I don't, yeah, here it is. Nope, that's not it. I'll find it later. Okay, so we're gonna, come on, glue. Here we go. So I'm just gonna use art glitter glue, and I'm just gonna glue this straight onto the fabric. I don't really feel the need. If you wanted to, you could even put paper on the other side if you had paper you thought would look good with your end papers. I'm probably going to let the fabric show. That's my intent at this point. And I am just going to lay this down with the top at what I'm calling the top. At this point, it doesn't really matter. It becomes the top once I've put this down. And I'm just going to center this somewhat in the center, because the edges of this won't show. The only thing that will show on the fabric when this is in the book is just the shoulder, where it goes over the shoulder of the book. Okay. Oops. I needed to have done that. That's okay, because the glue seeped through just a bit, not much. Okay, so what's going to happen here is when I get the signatures sewn in, they'll be here, and I will be using this guide, and then you won't see this. If you felt like you would see it or didn't want to, you could cover this. That happens too, because you could sew in your signatures and then do the shipping paper on top of it. That would give it that extra stability if you felt like it needed it, but it will glue in the book this way with your signatures in here like this. And then your end paper will then be glued on top. So what you're going to see is just a little bit of fabric between the first signature and the edge of your paper, because unless you want your paper to go over the shoulder, I don't always like to do that because it has the potential of coming up, bowing up. Okay, so that is how we make the template here for our spine, is this. So we're going to lay this aside to dry. I'm not going to poke holes in this yet. I will be doing that, but I'm not going to do it yet. But what I am going to do, I'll have to raise you up, is you'll see more of my mess. I don't have but a little bitty space here I'm working in, which I think is what we all do. It's like the space gets smaller and smaller as we work. So let's get some of this. I'm through with the centering ruler, so we're going to put that away. I don't need any more measuring. So I'll take out my book cradle. And this is the box I have my bookbinding tools in, and this is nylon thread that I like to use. A lot of people use wax thread. I have some of that too, but I found this at a thrift store, this huge thing of nylon thread, and it really works well. I really like how it works. So I have been using that for the most part. So to sew in our signatures, I have 2 giant paper clips that I use to clip my signatures together, my signature pages together. So I just go through and I just make sure that the pages are in the book, centered or not, depending on what I want it to be. And I don't want all of them to be right in the center. But the ones that I do, I try to make sure that that is in the center. Okay, and we have that like that. And this book cradle was made for me by a friend's husband. So it is not something, I mean, there are book cradles to be bought. Not, that out there. I'm sure that Etsy has them. Okay, then I put it in the book cradle. And then I just lay this in here with the arrow at the top. Let me find my awl here. Oh, where are you? Here you are. So I have my awl, or pokey tool, some people calls it. And I just make sure that that's at the top and that all the pages are down in the crease well. And then I just poke the holes in here, just like this. Just like this. Okay, so I have all the holes. I poked them in the center of my fold of my template here. I am going to leave this. So now we have the holes. You can see where the paper has pushed through a little bit. So there is the first signature ready to sew in. So I have another set. I'm going to just do this one more time on camera. So then I have another set of pages, and I need to move that because I hadn't glued that down yet. And let's make sure, here's the center. Let's make sure that all of the pages are where I want them to be. And I think that one's on the bottom. Let's just make sure that one is folded in the right place. Okay, and I think these are all in here. I want this one in the center. So let's move that one up a little bit. Let's move this one in the center as well. Let's move that one down a little bit, just like that. And the rest of these, I think, are mostly in the middle, which is what I want. So we'll just do that to make sure. Okay. Let's move this up just a little bit more. Yep. Okay. Now I'm going to, again, use my giant paper clip to hold this one and to hold this one. Sorry for my arm in the way. Okay. And now I can put this again at the top. The arrow is at the top, and I put it even with the top. And as long as I do it that same way each time, the holes will be in line with each other on each signature. And I just poke a hole again in my signature, just like that. Okay, now I am done with that. That's the only two I'm going to do right now on camera. So I keep the I'm going to bring it back down. I keep the gem clips, the giant clips on this, so they're not moving, so the pages will stay aligned. Now, I like to use these giant paper clips because if you have some shorter things, some smaller pieces of papers that you want to be able to keep clipped, this is a good way to do that because this is longer than just a binder clip. So that's why I like to use these large paper clips. Now, the other thing I need to do is, let me move this out of the way and get my little foam piece of stuff here. I'm gonna put my all away. I have this little piece of foam, and this is what I use to punch. Let's move it down a little bit more. To punch the holes on a piece in this. Okay, so this is dried a little bit. Should be ready to go. And I will punch at every cross point. I'll punch a hole. All the way through. And I'll just go on down the line to do that. Just like this. I hope that I'm giving some tips and some easy ways to do this because this is really simple way to do it. If you have templates, it's easy to get them. And if you have a centering ruler, it is easy to get the right proportions and things. The other thing is I usually, not always, but I usually do a odd number of signatures so that I have a center signature. That always makes it easier to space it out. Obviously, it can be done in other ways. I got that one off just a little bit, but it's not going to really matter. We'll make that work. Okay, there's that. Let me put this back away. Got to put tools away as I go, otherwise I'll lose them. Okay, so now we're ready. I'm going to go ahead. It's going a little quicker than I thought. Let's see where we're at. It's only been 30 minutes. I am going to sew in these signatures, these two signatures. I'm not going to do them all. I'm going to demonstrate these two. And I will get, these are different sizes. I like to use this bigger one. And I'll show you at least one signature and sewing it in. And I'll do these two signatures. So, did I make, yeah, this is the top. So I just turned it over. And it's going to go in my book. Let me get this. This is going to go in my book like this. So my first signature is going to be on the holes on the left side of me here. So this is how it's going to go. This is the top, you see. So that's the top, and this first signature is going to go like this. So I measure my thread out. I do, let's see if it'll hold. Yeah, I have a magnet right there. I'm going to put it on that. I do three lengths of the height, loose. I don't measure it exactly. That's 3. And then I like to do, well, I actually like to do probably 4, almost 4. Again, doesn't have to be exact. The reason I do that is because when I'm sewing these in, I like to have a lot of space to work with. So now the other reason I like this nylon thread is because it's very thin. So it does not have large knots in it. I find that the wax, did I just pull that out? No, I'm notorious for doing that. Pulling out my thread. Okay, so I'm going from the, instead of going inside of the signature out, which I do if I'm sewing it through the spine, which leaves the knot on the inside. But if I'm doing a hollow hidden spine, I go from the outside in, because this is going to be hidden and it'll not have any knots or any strings left on the inside, which is what I want in this particular case. So I got it through there, and here's my hole going through my signature. And I just pull that through right here. And what I like to do is I pull this on through. And I'm notorious, again, for pulling it all the way through. So I like to take a span and stick it under this gem clip right here, this big gem clip. And that way I won't be tugging it until I get it in enough that it's not going to tug through. I won't be tugging it through. So then we'll go to the next hole, which is right here. And I just run it across the, if you can't see, I can't see that hole, because it's one in dark paper. And then I go to the next hole here. So I went through the center hole and I'm coming out the next hole. Just pull that through like that. And then I'm going to go back through this hole. Now, bear with me. I've never done this on camera before. And sometimes it doesn't work as nicely as one might like. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this through. And then find my hole up here at the top, which sometimes, I can't see the hole because of the papers. But then I can find it here, and then I can go back through. Right there. And go back through here. Okay? And the reason I like to have room, and I like to have the threads, I really need to take this and put it under this one. Like that. That's better. Okay, now I'm back here, and I've I've come through the signature here. Now I'm going to go back through the second hole. And this is where the reason I like to have room, because I rarely can get it through here and into that all in one swoop. The key here is that you don't want to snag the strings of the first time in, because if you do, you got to do it again. And I've had to do it again many times because sometimes I do snag that string. If you snag the string, you won't be able to tighten your signature. And that is never a good thing. So go back through this, and that one's not. And see, I try to pull, that's another reason I like to have space, so I can pull that string to the side and miss those catching the other strings, the other bits that you've already tried to get here. The cord that you've already passed through the hole, you don't want to catch the extra strings of that. Okay. Then I'm going to go across the middle hole here to this next to the bottom and go through here. And go through here. Just like this. And just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to go out this bottom hole. Into the bottom hole on my spine. I call it the interior spine because we have the spine of the book and this is the interior. Okay, now we want to go back through. I have to turn it over. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. I'll move you up just a little bit. So now I go back through this hole, missing the strings of this, missing this, you know, just trying not to split the strings of the cord that's already through that hole. And then I'm going to go back through here. I can't see with the camera here. I like to bring that over to the side. And I'll go back through this hole. There we are. And I think I missed catching any of those strings. You'll know at the end whether you did or not. When you get ready to tie it off, you'll know. Okay, we're almost ready to tie it off. Uh-oh. Did I catch that one? No, I don't think I did. Okay, now I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. But I want it to be loose enough because now I'm going to go back out the middle, which is where we started. But I'm going to be going outside the middle of this, trying not to catch the strings. And that's where waxed is nice because it is waxed, so you don't have, but this really is pretty tightly wound, so I don't feel like, I don't usually catch the extra, you know, the string when I come through. And then this is that. So we have, the signature is basically sewn in. And what you do is I make sure that one end of this thread is under and over, so I can do under and over. And let's see, I may have caught a string. Let's see if I did. Yep, because it's not tightening up, that means I caught a string somewhere that I shouldn't have. Let's see if I can find it. And we have to go back to that point. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, yeah, that's good. There we go. There we go. So I didn't catch a string. So then I just pull it tight, snug. I like for it to be kind of snug. So I probably pull it tighter than, see, that's not snug enough to me. I like for it to be very snug. So I pull it pretty tight. Then tie a knot. This is always hard to me. And this will stay. It stays good. But I just like for it to, so I just tie a knot that way. Yeah, those are good and tight. And then I tie a knot going the other way. Which I don't think it really matters. People say that you need to do one way one and the other way. I don't think I ever really pay that much attention. And I've never had any problems. Okay, and there is the signature tied in. And then I clip. And I leave just a little bit. And I clip it and leave just a little bit. And then that is excess. Which you can use that maybe for a little book. Okay, so we've got the first signature into my hidden spine. That will be my hidden spine. So then I can take these off. And there we are. So then let's do the next one. So now I like to flatten this out. And I'll go each page and just rub my finger across it because it always wants to bend one way better than the other. So I always try to get it to do each way. And that's the middle. No, this is the middle. That's not the middle. This is the middle right here. And then we'll fold it over this way. And you can do that. Let's see, where's my little? You can do that with a bone folder or some sort of folding tool. This is the way it doesn't want to do it nicely for some reason. And so I just fold these, get these folded like they should be. And then we're ready for the next one. Let's hope this next one goes as smoothly as that one did. And we'll go into this next row of, on my hidden spine part. So I'm going to do 4 because I like to have that excess so I can maneuver it better. So that's 1, 2, 3, and sort of 4. I have enough nylon thread to never run out. There'll be nylon thread for many more people to use after I'm gone. I have that one. I mean, look how much is on there. That will never run out. I will never, ever have to worry about thread or binding for my books here. Okay, we're going to start and do the same thing again. Oh, I left my little template in there. Didn't want to do that. Okay, I'm just going to, before I start, I'm just going to make another little poke with my needle here in these holes. And just so I know where they are. And then we will go from the outside in again And I'm going on my second line from the front to make this one. Sew this one in. So it's going to go right here. And then I'll go into my signature through the middle. Just like this. Just like that. Pull it through. Let's don't pull it all the way through. Again, I will want to put this string, tell you what I'm going to do with it this time. I'm going to clip it on the bottom with one of these little clips, and I'm just going to clip it down here so I don't pull it through. I can take that off in just a minute. After I've done 2 or 3 of these, you can't pull it through. You could, but it'd be really hard. Okay, and then we're going to go back out the second hole from the top. And that's just the way you could do it at the bottom if you want. I just do it at the top. That's just how I do it. But it's the second hole from the top or the bottom. I'm going to change that and put that over here for right now. It might get changed again. Okay. And then I just pull this. And I like to leave about an inch or so space, with it loose, because I like to be able to maneuver it, because it's easier to maneuver if I don't have to go through the spine, this hidden spine, and the signature at the same time. So I usually pull it through, and then I can usually get it through the signature very easily. Just like that. So that is something I learned. Nobody told me to do that. They say leave a little space, but I need a lot of space. So I do, that's why I do a longer thread. And so I don't want to catch I'm going back through the second one from the top, and I don't want this to catch that string. And so that's another reason I want enough space. Did I pull that out? I did. That's the reason I want enough space that I can move the string aside and get into the hole to the side of the string. That way you won't catch, hopefully you won't catch the string. Okay, so we went back out. Did I do that right? Yeah. Back out the top. Back out the second hole, sorry, from the inside to the outside. So we're right here. Yeah, and if you pull your string, see, it was looser than it needed to be, so I pulled it. And that also told me that it won't pull if you've caught the little string of the next one. And then I got to go through here, not catching that extra string that's in there. And go in just like that. Is that right? Whoops. I didn't do something right here. Yeah, I did. Okay. It's just a bigger hole. So now I've got to carry it through here. Can't see me. Okay, good. Now again, I'll switch this back over here. Now I'm going to go and skip this middle one. Okay, did I catch the string? I may have. Let's see. Nope. That's good. That's good. Okay, so now I'm going to, again, this is my tail. This is my excess piece at the end. So I'm going to skip over this middle hole and go to this one next to the bottom, second from the bottom. And go in here. Go in there, and if I don't see the hole or feel the hole or can tell exactly where I'm going, I come and find it, stick it through this way, then come back. Because sometimes it'll shift a little bit. Even at the very best you can do, it'll shift a little bit. And when it does, it doesn't want to stick through. So then I just stick it through to kind of get it back on its course. And we're going through the bottom one from the inside to the outside. And push it through the bottom. Okay, so we're almost done with this second signature. And I will do the rest of them off camera because you don't need to see. Making sure we miss the strings on that. Come back through the binding, the spine, and then back through the signature. Moving that string to the side so we don't catch it. And going back in here. Just like that. And then we're going to go back out the center. Let's make sure I got that. Pulling that string aside. It's hard to do this on camera. This is the first time I've ever done it on camera. It's kind of hard to do. Okay, it's kind of hard to do, and then make sure you see what I'm doing too. Okay, now back through. Did I catch? I think I did. Oh, there we go. And back out through the center. Back through the hidden spine, second spine here. And back out. And see how short this one got? Because I didn't have it clipped. Then make sure one's on one side, one's on the other. And let's see if we got it where we can tighten it up. Like that. And then pull it here. Yep, that tightened up fine. So I make that kind of tight. I like to make sure it is tight on the inside. And do, excuse me, do a knot. And then do another knot. Again, I don't care if it's one way or the other. Like I said, I've never had a problem. Okay, there we go. And then just clip these off. Like that. Okay. So we have, I'll put this back up here on my magnet. We have two signatures sewn in. And take that off. And then we have the two signatures sewn in beautifully, perfect. I'm going to fold this one through like I did the other one. It gets harder to do that, the more pages, more signatures you have in. But I still can do it, and I still like to do it, and will do it. You can just do it with your finger if you want to. When I get done with this, I will be doing I'll have to tell you about that. This is, I will do a flip through of the whole journal. Okay, that's the center. We're doing this way. And this is where, and now I will use this, this one. Go down like that. get these folded in nicely. This will help it lay flat also when you've got them all in. There we go. So this is what you see between the signatures, and you've got your little 1/4 of an inch in between there. That allows for a little bit of bulk so that you can close your book. And what I'm hoping this will be, and I don't know yet. I want it to be rounded. I want the spine to be rounded. I usually put a piece in here, and I may still do that, but I will do that on the next video. So that will be the next video, is I'll have these all sewn in, and then we'll be ready to put it. I'm going to do some more decorating before I'm ready to put it in the book. So because it's easier to do the decorating, and I always get to a certain point where I can decorate it with the pages loose, but then I get to a point where it's like, okay, I just can't deal with that anymore. And then when I sew it into my spine this way, into my hidden spine, I can then flip it like a book, and I can finish it up and finish any decorating that I want to do, stamping, stenciling, or whatever. And then I'll put it in the book. So I will finish, the book will be finished. The inside of the book will be finished when I put it into the actual cover. I have not decided whether I want to do the cover front before I put it in. It's easier to put it in if this is going to be flat, and I'm thinking this is going to have some 3D imaging on it, 3D things on it, and it'll be easier to put it in if it's flat. So I'm probably going to do the cover at the end. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. That's today's video. I also will show you what I do inside the spine here before I put this in, but this will go in here like this when I'm done. So we'll see you in the next video. I appreciate you coming along. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And those who have come and been with me for a while, thank you for coming back. I hope I have given you some little tips that might be helpful for you when you might be sewing in signatures as well. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment and ask. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have on how this is done, or if you didn't understand any part of the process, I'll be happy to clarify. I appreciate you coming along, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.